December 4th, 1993, is a day I can never forget. A day in Matang Forest of East Malaysia. This day, I came to face with death. That afternoon, I went into the forest alone to swim. I had swum in this pool before, but this time, it was very strange. The moment I plunged into the water, I lost all sensation of my legs. I couldn't feel my legs at all. I was shocked, terrified, and began to panic. Images of my mother, father, and girlfriends flashed in my mind with extremely fast speed. After swallowing some water, I thought I was going to die. I gave up hope. I thought that's not possible to survive. Then, in that moment of despair, a thought appeared in my mind. Let me die mindfully. This thought switched my mind over miraculously. I felt that I was pushed from the darkest night into the brightest day. Strangely, with this brightening up of my mind, I could feel my legs again. Then, I pushed up the bottom of the pool, broke the surface, and breathed in fresh air. Then I swam to the bank and survived. This experience was unforgettable and beyond explanation. Later, this prompted me to explore life and death through meditation. Let me share my journey and experiment with you. The beginning of my journey wasn't an easy one, because I couldn't believe in anything easily. I had a very skeptical nature. But to my relief, I discovered later that my freedom to question everything was actually recognized by the Buddha. In fact, this quality was considered as a helpful quality to develop wisdom. This freedom of inquiry is actually supported in the discourse Kalama Sutta, also known as the Charter of Free Inquiry of the Buddha. So that means it was not compulsory for me to believe anything. I was told to come and see, meaning I could experiment first and then accept when I know for myself, as suggested in the discourse Kalama Sutta. I owe my gratitude to my great teacher, the Most Venerable Pao Sayadaw. Pao Sayadaw introduced and brought two precious mind tools to us, Samatha and Vipassana. These mind tools is used to check our beliefs and then bring us to direct insight, direct knowledge. Would you like to empower your mind? You can practice Samatha. In this Samatha meditation is the practice that empowers our mind. With an enhanced mindfulness and concentration, this practice helps us to develop an inner light produced by our mind. We call light of wisdom. This is a tool meditators use to see the realities of life. In the next practice, Vipassana meditation. So there are two things. One mind tool is used to empower our mind. Then another mind tool is used to use that power that we develop in Samatha to analyze, to see the true nature of life, our realities. I will explain further. Then just like X-ray is used to see our internal organs, light of wisdom is used to see the true nature of our body and mind. Later, meditators will shine this inner light towards their past. Yesterday, yesteryears, up to the time in mother's womb, and further into past lives. Meditators use this light to see the causes and effects of their many lifetimes. They see how past causes produce present results. This is a record of what had already happened. And we know the past cannot be changed. Then the meditators will see how the present causes will produce future results. This is a karma energy projection of what will happen. This karma, I briefly explained, it is the energy left over in our mind when we think, when we speak, and when we act. This is an energy source that can produce result. So this projection into the future, this can be changed by our present effort. This is not easy to see, not easy to understand, when we have very limited time frame of knowing, when we only see what happened within one lifetime. But that's why we need the tool, the mind tool, to see into the past and the future. Then when we see the past lives record and future lives projection, then we can understand what happened, why things happened, and how things happen in our lives. So this practice is very helpful. It helps us to understand life. Why do I share these things with you? Because this knowledge of realities is so helpful and can actually allow us to have deep implication and see to our life, for our mind, and in fact for humans' civilization. So this practice, I call it scientific experiment of mind. The reasons are, it doesn't require any belief. The method doesn't require any belief. And the results are verifiable. And it can be repeated. And it can be proven by anybody, regardless of faith or values that we uphold. So later, meditators will use this light to see further realities. They start to come to appreciate about the true nature of morality. What is moral? What is immoral? Who determines what is moral and what is immoral? It is this natural law of cause and effect. This natural law of cause and effect. And then the meditators will see how a moral act will produce desirable, pleasant result, and immoral acts will produce undesirable, painful results. This is not easy to see, but I give a simile for this understanding. Suppose there is a man with only 1 second memory. 1 second memory. He cannot, beyond 1 second, he cannot remember anything. Then suppose this man, A, punch another man, B, and then the next second, B punch him back. Then this A, having only 1 second memory, have already forgotten that he was punched he had punched B before. He was the first to punch B. Then he could not understand why he was punched. He couldn't understand. So it is not easy to see this. One lifetime is not sufficient to see the operation of the law of cause and effect, because this law operates through many lifetimes. But with this practice of the mind tools that I mentioned, we can see the past lives record and the future lives projection, and then can come to understand why these things happen, more about lives. Then we can proceed to the more deeper questions. What causes will produce what results? We all want happiness and don't want suffering, right? So, very simple. We just need to cultivate causes of happiness and avoid causes of suffering. Causes of happiness is like when we are kind to people, when you are forgiving, and we try to be warm, and we try to appreciative and be grateful. These are the wholesome things that will produce good results. And we should avoid things like getting hateful, angry, not forgiving, ungrateful. These are the causes that will cause suffering in our lives. The greatest flaw of humans is in finding the wrong causes and effects of relationship. For example, the robbers. They rob because thinking that this is a way to get rich. But in fact, this act is actually a cause of poverty. And for people like Adolf Hitler, who waged war and initiated genocide, if only Hitler knew how the war crimes that he committed would cause terrible suffering for him, he would have given up all those evil. Similarly, if Hitler saw the reality of rebirth, that there was a vast possibilities that he would be reborn into, he could be reborn into, including that he might be reborn as a Jew, the race that he hated, then he would have given up racism. There's no room for racism in the knowledge of the reality of rebirth. We humans have come a long way learning from human history. In fact, it is even more important that we learn from our own life's history, because this will help us to understand, learn from our past experiences, and then can avoid repeating the acts that can cause us suffering. Times and again, meditators have proven this truth. Good begets good, bad begets bad. We may believe good begets good, bad begets bad, but such belief is not powerful, not strong enough as a foundation of our character. Sometimes when our self-interest is involved, sometimes when we face great challenge or danger, we may not be able to uphold our character and our morality. We may be tempted to respond with immoral reactions. This can happen when good begets good, bad begets bad. It's just a belief. But when we see directly ourselves how the law of cause and effect operates through many lifetimes, our belief of this law of cause and effect will naturally turn into knowledge. Believing is replaced by knowing. With this knowledge, we will avoid doing harms, avoid causes of suffering, because simply out of love for ourselves, we can avoid that. Because this good begets good, bad begets bad, has become a confirmed knowledge of realities. We know some people can live an altruistic life for others, and such individuals are rare and few in numbers compared to the common folks who care more about their own well-being. Because altruism is the act of the great, but self-love is the universal trait of all living beings. So, having this knowledge of the laws of cause and effect, the more we love ourselves, the more we will embrace morality. Now, one last thing. It is this reality-based confidence. How do you develop your confidence? Based on success, based on good self-performance, based on auto-suggestion, or maybe is it based on approval of others? These are not always reliable. Sometimes we fail, and our self-confidence may be shaken. And sometimes people don't approve us, and our self-confidence may be shaken. But when we have the unshakable knowledge of the life, of the law of cause and effect, we can have confidence all the time. Even in the lowest tide of our life, even when we are down and out, even when life seems no hope at all. Because this confidence is founded upon life realities. And life realities are always there. When we know for ourselves that this law of cause and effect is ever operating in our lives, then we will have the confidence, we will know that every new cause that we cultivate now can make a difference. It does count and matters. Now is the only relevant time to effect a change. Now provide us with the life-changing opportunity. And now allows us to generate new good causes. So such reality-based confidence in times of difficulties can lift us out of hardship and despair. Reflecting on my near-death experience in Matang Forest Pool, I was actually saved by the power of mindfulness and my belief in the law of cause and effect. At that time, it was just still a belief, not a knowledge yet. The thought, let me die mindfully, was my last effort to get a good rebirth. Because I was taught to get a good rebirth, we need to die with a bright mind. Then we can get a good rebirth. So this relentless effort in despair saved me. And here I am. One day, I was walking along the beach in Tanjung Bunga in Penang. Then one Indian man walked up to me and asked, Swamiji, do you believe in reincarnation? I asked him in return, do you believe there are sun, moon, and stars in the sky? He was baffled, looking at me, baffled at my questions. Then I told him, brother, just as we don't say we believe there are sun, moon, and stars in the sky because we see them, I don't say I believe in rebirth. So is the law of cause and effect to me. So for you, my friends, my message is, do not believe. Come and see. Thank you.